Good evening, good evening, good evening, good evening, everyone. I am here. I am here. Are you? I am here. I am here. Are you? Good evening, my lovely people. Welcome to Phoenix Free Press. This is Nikki Phoenix. We are live. I am here. I am here. I am here. Are you? Our guest is here. There's so many updates, so much updates. How should I say it? We have a lot of updates. That's what I need to say. We have a lot of updates that we need to be talking about. And I'll give you all those updates and little news plugs after our guest this evening. But welcome to Phoenix Free Press with Nikki Phoenix. I'm just sharing the live so our um friends, everyone can know that we're live this evening because I'm going live from the Free Press 268 page. So just share the live and I'll share it also from the Lady Nikki Phoenix page. So I'm just sharing it on my page so everyone can know that we are here and we are live. How was your week? How was your week? We're into the weekend. How are you guys doing? And what about yesterday? Yesterday was Friday. Last evening, Friday evening, was the executive meeting for the Antigua and Barbuda Labour Party. The place is so silent. Why is everyone so silent? I saw nothing in the news. I saw nothing anywhere with regards to the executives meeting and decision, guys. And don't you want to know? I want to know. Well, you know me, I had to find out. I did find out. So after we've wrapped up with our guests, I'm gonna give you some updates. I will give you some updates. We'll talk about what went down at this executive ABLP non-governmental only party politics meeting because that's what they told me in the press briefing. It's not related to government business. So mind your business, Nikki, because it's not government business. So mind your business. That's what they said. I'm giving you guys an opportunity to share the live, share it on your pages also, because I'm going live from the Free Press 268 page and the Lady Nikki Phoenix page, but not my personal page, guys. So I don't think much people will know that I'm live. And you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go live from that page, from here, and just send our friends on over here. Our guest is in the studio, you know. Our guest is here. Professor Leslie Thomas is here. He is ready for us to be educated in an entertaining way this evening. So I'm trying to go live here. I'm not even going to put a comment or a caption. We just need to go live. Oh, wait. How do I flip the camera? I'm here, guys. We're live, guys. We're live on the Free Press 268 page. That's where you need to be so we can get our interview going. So I just came here to say I'm not staying over here. You got to come here. Hey, Jonathan, good evening. Welcome. Ella, good evening. Guys, Audley, welcome. You're going to enjoy this conversation tonight, Audley. This is right up your alley. Jonathan, yourself too. Let me know what your drink of choice is. You guys know what the order of the day is. You know what the order of the evening is. Our Saturday evening is a sip and chat. Tonight, my coffee is, I have an intergalactic mocha. You guys know what I'm talking about, an intergalactic mocha? It's a coffee with a bit of to keep a sister up. So I'm having my intergalactic mocha as the sip, and I'm having a glass of water. Yes. So share the live, leave your comment. Professor Leslie Thomas, KC, he's here with us. He is our guest tonight, our exclusive interview. And who is Professor Thomas KC? Who is Professor Leslie Thomas? I mean, you saw the flyer. I'm not sure if you had a chance to go through it enough or to even Google Professor Leslie Thomas to see who this individual is, and also to recognize that him taking the time to come and sit with us here on Free Press 268 is a big deal, guys. It's a big deal. Okay, so share the live and let's get this conversation going. Now, I became knowledgeable of Professor Leslie Thomas when I went to the Privy Council last year, November 2023, for the Barbuda airport case between Antigua Barbuda Airport Authority, the DCA, John Mussington, and Jackie Frank. And that was when the Privy Council heard the case, and the decision was handed down in February, I think it is, just last month. I did have Professor Leslie Thomas booked earlier than now, but I requested a reschedule, because of time and stuff that's happening. But guys, just a little plug here. I'm not staying up there. You got to come here. Oh, you wouldn't understand what I mean, but yeah, I'm not staying on Lady Nikki Phoenix personal page. We got to come over to the Free Press 268. We got to bring these kind of content and work here, and we got to keep that page there for the fun. Okay, for the fun. This is work, so come on over here. So let me give you a little bit of the bio for Professor Leslie Thomas, because he was one of the King's Counsel, on the case for Jackie Frank and John Mussington, and they were victorious with their claim, with their petition, with their case, sorry. And Professor Leslie Thomas is going to speak about that. But in doing the research and in preparing my flyer for tonight, I was reliably informed by Professor Leslie Thomas himself, that he was a lawyer on the case also for the Hillsborough, I trust I'm saying it right, the Hillsborough Inquiry, or is it Hillsborough Inquiry, and the Grenfell Inquiry. Now, the Grenfell one, I'm aware of that one, that inquiry, the case, the things that have been happening, the number of people that died, the high-rise building in the UK. So tonight we're gonna, hear a little bit about some of the issues that have been edged in the hearts of the people of UK here in the area of where Grenfell is, the families that are connected to those who perished in that fire. That fire was burning for 60 hours. Now there's 24 hours in a day, guys. There's 24 hours in a day. And this fire in 2017 was burning for 60 hours, 60. I'm sure those who keep up to date with the news might have seen it, but what happened after? What happened, since that fire? So we're going to talk a little bit about that. So again, for bio, Professor Leslie Thomas Casey is a human rights, civil liberties barrister. He has appeared in many high-profile cases representing the families of the deceased: Birmingham pub bombing inquest, Grenfell inquiry, Azil Rodney, and most remember, if you're not aware, but Professor Leslie Thomas resides here in the UK. So majority of the information here will be regards to his work here in the UK, and we'll hear about his connections to Antigua and working in Antigua and the judicial system. In 2020, he received the award for outstanding contribution to D&I in the UK Chambers Bar Awards, and became Professor of Law at Gresham College. He is a visiting Professor of Law at Goldsmiths. Leslie is the Master for Equality, Diversity, and Inclusion, and chairs this subcommittee for the Inner Temple. And I'm trust he will explain some more about this for us. He's also a member of the Bar Standards Board and its Race Equality Task Force. He is on the King's Council Appointments Panel and is a member of the London Policing Board. He is on the editorial board for the Amicus Journal. He is the co-author of the Practitioner's Textbook Inquest, a Practitioner's Guide, published by Legal Action, first edition in 2002, second edition in 2008, and third edition in 2014. Professor Leslie Thomas, our honored guest for tonight in our exclusive interview, he's here to speak about the Barbuda, if you're just joining, Barbuda airport case where they won at the Privy Council. One of the main reasons why I invited Professor Leslie Thomas was because of the responses that the other side of the lawyers on the other side, as in Dr. David Dorset and Anthony Astafan. I think lawyer Anthony Astafan. I don't think he's a KC, but both of them represent the government, and the information that they were putting in the public. For me, I felt like I wanted to get both sides, hearing from both lawyers, lawyers for both sides. That's what I should say. So Professor Leslie Thomas is here, and without further ado, I'm quite honored to add him to our platform tonight with Phoenix Free Press. Professor Leslie Thomas, good evening. Welcome to Phoenix Free Press.
Thank you for inviting me. Can you hear me okay?
I can. I definitely can. I just let the audience let us know if you can hear Professor. And you there on the personal page, you're not going to see him. So you got to come to the Free Press 268 page. And when it gets sweet, I'm going to lock it off here and help you to come over here. Professor, it's 12:12 in the night. Should I say, or in the morning? Thank you for making such a compromise, and you're really, leaving sleep and you're here with us tonight. Thank you. Can you tell our audience a little bit about yourself? And I'm very curious about your roots. Are you connected to Antigua, and in what way? And we can start our conversation there.
Yeah, I am. I'm mixed heritage, so half my family is from Antigua, half
Can you
my...
put a little bit more volume on yours, on your end? Let me just see.
Of course, yeah. I'll just speak up a bit more. Is that better? Can you hear me now?
I can. Perfect. Yeah. Thank you.
Okay, yeah. So I was saying, half my family are from Antigua. That's my mother's side, and the other half of my family are from Dominica. So yeah, but my folks, they met in London, and that's where I was born. But I have a close connection with both Antigua and Dominica,
Okay.
and I'm regularly in Antigua. I visit Antigua more than anywhere else in the world. I'm literally in Antigua nearly every month. So
literally
nearly every month.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's really good. You're practically, you're home then. You're home and here. Because if you calculate it, you're 6 months there to some extent and 6 months here.
I consider Antigua as my home.
Yes, it certainly is. I want to know a little bit about your history with regards to your work. I mentioned in your bio, I wanted to go back to some of the organizations that you're a part of, some of the boards, some of the awards that you've received. And then especially in 2020, you received the award for outstanding contribution to D&I in the UK Chambers Bar Awards. But I wasn't sure, what is the D&I? Is it D&I or DNL?
No, D&I, that's diversity and inclusivity.
Okay, diversity and inclusivity. Okay, you received that award. And I also mentioned here with regards to being a member of the Bar Standards Board and its Waste Equality Task Force. Can you tell us a little bit about your work and who you are before we get into this conversation about Barbuda? Because I want people to know Professor Leslie Thomas.
All right, so I've been practicing as a lawyer, a barrister, for over 30 years. 34 years this year, something like that.
Congratulations.
I've been practicing as an attorney in Antigua since 2008. So, but in both jurisdictions a long time. I became the King's Counsel, Queen's Counsel when the Queen was alive, in 2014. So I've been a QC and then a KC for 10 years, and I've done some of the most high-profile cases and well-known cases in the United Kingdom. And you've mentioned some of them. I was involved in the Birmingham pub bombings. That was as a result of the IRA planting a bomb in a pub in Birmingham in 1971. There was a further investigation in 2000, I think it was 2018, where they tried to get to the bottom of what happened, and I was leading a team of 5 lawyers trying to representing the families of those who lost loved ones. Really tragic case. And you mentioned the Hillsborough um, disaster. I don't know if people remember that. That was the football stadium in Sheffield, in the north of England, where um, Liverpool um, Liverpool fans were crushed when the tunnel was blocked by the police, and 96 Liverpool supporters died that day, crushed.
96 people.
96 people died in the stadium. Yeah, and I was representing about 22 families, so I was involved in that. More recently, uh, as you've just mentioned, there was the Grenfell fire disaster,
Yes.
and your summary is absolutely correct. 2017, a tower block, large apartment block in West London, went up in flames, and so many families and so many people died when they were trapped. And that was a real tragedy, because there wasn't a need for so many people to die had the police and the fire services, in particular the fire services, taken a different line and allowed people to leave the building, but they told people to stay put in their premises, in their apartments, and those who stayed put died. Those
Yes.
who ignored the instructions of the fire brigade, um, many of those survived. So that was a real tragedy. And I was involved in that inquiry. And in fact, that inquiry is about to report anytime soon. We haven't had the findings yet. Should
Mm.
report maybe later this year. And then the other big inquiry that I'm involved in at the moment is the COVID inquiry into the pandemic in the United Kingdom. That started last year, about this time last year,
Mhm.
and continuing. And recently, I cross-examined Boris Johnson and Rishi Sunak. So I had two prime ministers. I had the pleasure of cross-examining two
Mhm.
prime ministers in relation to their handling, or I should say lack of handling, of what went on during the pandemic. So, that's the sort of work I do in the UK. It's predominantly, human rights, civil liberties type work. In Antigua, I do a range of work here. I do a lot of environmental and constitutional work, a lot of judicial review, and the most notable case that I've done is to date is the Privy Council case, representing John Mussington and Jackie Frank. And we can come on to that and look at that in a bit more detail in a moment, and I'll explain why
Yes.
the case is important, why the case is significant, and why it touches all of us who live in the Caribbean.
Yes, of course. And I'm sitting there waiting for you to say more, because I think it's important for us to understand the importance of the case, if I can use the word importance
Yeah,
twice, because one of the things that has been happening and still happened in Antigua after the case, the Privy Council give a ruling in favor of John and Jackie. Many of our residents in Antigua and Barbuda, was Antigua especially, were saying, what did they win? What did Barbudans win? Barbudans didn't win anything, and they're still being busybodies, and they're stopping progress, they're hampering progress on the side of the government. The government is basically saying, you know what, we're moving forward with this because this is going to bring good benefits, or good money, good income to Barbuda. And my key interest in inviting you is because I attended the briefing that yourself and the other lawyer, I forgot her name, I think it's Thalia,
Yeah.
presented, and I was making notes, hearing everything that you were saying, but it was totally opposite of what total opposite response or explanation was being given from the government side with the information that you were putting out, and there was no opportunity. There was no opportunity for yourself or for Thalia or anyone who was on the side, as in lawyers or barristers representing John and Jackie, having that platform. So I felt the need to have you join us tonight.
Well, thank you for the opportunity to set the record straight. I think it's important that we understand what the case is about and why it's important. So let me just take a couple of minutes and just set that out for
Of
everybody.
course. One second, Leslie. Before you do, can you bring your camera, or can you come a little bit more in your camera? Perfect. Thank you. Yes.
So let me just set it out a little bit. So what's the story about? Well, the Barbuda case is a story of what I would describe David and Goliath. You have two individuals from Codrington Village in Barbuda who challenged the construction of the airport near their community. And why did they do that? Well, they raised concerns about the potential environmental impacts of the airport, including a number of things: noise pollution, disruption, damage to the local ecosystem, particularly the hydrology of the area, and the potential impact on the drinking water sources in Barbuda. That's important because, you know, in Antigua and Barbuda, we appreciate just how important water is. You know, our islands suffer droughts, and you know, as climate change happens, those droughts will become even more frequent. And nobody should underestimate the importance of, you know, fresh drinking water. Now, here's the thing that I haven't heard anybody talking about. The one thing that the government agencies never produced during the 5 years of the litigation is an environmental impact assessment. And an environmental impact assessment is a report, a study that is done when anybody's proposing to, you know, do a major piece of planning work to show the impact on the local community and the local environment. And, you know, as you would imagine, one of the things that an EIA, an environmental impact assessment, will look at is the impact on pollution, water, waste, those sorts of things. We asked the DCA, the ABAA, and the government for the EIA repeatedly. To this day, Nikki, nothing has been produced, and we can only assume that either they haven't got an EIA, and they commissioned the works unlawfully without ever commissioning a proper EIA, or the EIA that they commissioned is so bad that they don't want to reveal it. That's the only. Those are the only reasonable assertions. But we will get the EIA. We'll get it. We'll get it in the proceedings I'm going to tell you about in a moment. Okay. But coming back to Barbuda, one of the key sources of drinking water and water in Barbuda are wells. Barbuda has deep wells.
Yes.
And there were the statutory agencies commissioned a report, not an EIA, but a report by somebody called Brosnan. Now, even in the Brosnan report, so this is their own commission report, indicated that there was a risk of runoff, contaminants, toxins from the runway that will run off from the airport runway, and there was a risk of contaminating the ground, the underground water.
So the EIA that was done is not an EIA. It's not an EIA. It's just a report, and this report is stating that the runoff water can cause
There's a risk. There's a
a
risk
risk,
of runoff.
and
Exactly.
it was ignored. And what happened with the report, or they just
So
ignored the
well,
report?
it has been ignored because the government pressed ahead. So um, and this is one of the things that the Privy Council picked up on. Additionally, the appellants, John and Jackie, argued that the construction of the airport violated due process. What I mean by due process, proper process of law, as it began without a proper development permit and lacked proper or adequate public consultation as required by the Physical Planning Act. So this airport was constructed in breach of the law. They also highlighted failures to disclose essential information, as I say, the environmental impact assessment, which should have been made available to the public during the application process. And despite um, initial dismissals by the lower court, we John and Jackie persisted in their legal challenge. They asserted their right to stand in. I'm going to come on and explain what I mean by that in a moment.
Mhm.
And they argued that they had a legitimate interest in their case, given the proximity of their homes to the construction of the airport site. Ultimately, the case highlighted citizen power, the significance that the ordinary citizens' involvement in terms of environmental protection and the upholding of legal procedures and legal standards. And it underscores the interconnectedness between individual rights, um, community well-being, and the broader environmental concerns, emphasising the need for transparent and accountable decision-making in matters affecting the environment. Now, there's one thing I want to say, and
Yes.
it's important that I do say that, and it's this. In a world, right, we live in a world where powerful interests often overshadow the voices of ordinary people. John Mussington and Jackie Frank, they dared to challenge the status quo. They refused to remain silent in the face of the potential environmental harm to their community. And I have to say this, I'll take my hat off to them because they demonstrated unwavering dedication to protecting Barbuda's precious and natural resources. And, their bravery extends beyond mere legal action. It's a testament to their deep rooted commitment to the well being of their brothers and sisters and also future generations. You see, by standing up to powerful entities and demanding accountability, they embody the essence of true leadership and citizenship. You see, their willingness to take on this case, despite the risks involved, and there were several risks to them,
Yeah.
particularly financial risks, that serves as an inspiration to us all. It reminds us that one person's voice can make a difference, and that the pursuit of justice requires courage, determination, and resilience. And those two individuals, have an abundance of those qualities. And, we need to acknowledge the countless individuals around the world who continue to fight for environmental protection and environmental justice in the face of adversity. And I take my hat off to those two individuals.
Yes, and in the face of adversity, we can speak of the many harassment that John Mussington himself has received. Even being arrested, etc. It is a positive for him. It is a positive for the nation. But unfortunately, the citizens of Antigua and Barbuda, especially Antigua, are not seeing it. And I think that is what the government plays on to some extent, of not providing an accurate outline of exactly what this case is, what it means, and what the potential casualties can be. I have a number of questions, but I would love for us to speak about the casualties that is possible because of moving forward with an airport without even following all the procedures, the EIA, the planning, following the Planning Act, etc. Can we talk about that? And while you're doing that, I'm actually looking for my notes from when we had the update. I can, yes.
Yeah. Well, let me start why a lot of people are saying, well, what was the case about? The actual Privy Council case isn't about the actual decision. It was about standing. Now, what do I mean by standing? Standing is just simply a, a, a legal term that determines whether a person has the right to bring a case to court. In simple terms, it's about whether somebody is directly affected by the issue at hand they're bringing to court. Imagine you have a problem that you want to solve in court. Before you can do that, the court needs to make sure that you're the right person to bring the case. It's a bit like making sure you have the right ticket to get on a ride in an amusement park, for example. So standing is like having the right ticket for a legal ride. If you are directly affected by the problem or issue, then you have standing. If you are not directly involved or affected, then the court might say you don't have standing. Um, so, in summary, standing is about making sure that the right people are bringing the right cases to court, and that ensures fairness and efficiency in the legal system. Now, here's the thing, right? It's important to realise that there's a nexus between individuals and the wider society and the environment around them. Because one of the issues in this case was it wasn't just about individuals. It was about individuals because I've already mentioned to you the water. I've already mentioned to you the fact that John and Jackie Codrington is just a couple of miles away from what would be an international airport. So you can imagine the noise that
Yes.
would affect them on a small island like Barbuda. You can imagine the pollution that would affect them on a small island like Barbuda. But also, there's the natural environment. There's the flora, the plant life, and the fauna, the animal life. And one of the things the case made clear is if you have a genuine interest in your environment, you can advocate on behalf of the environment. And the court the court rejected the statutory agency's argument. This is the DCA and the Antigua and Barbuda Airport Authority's argument that John and Jackie were just mere busybodies. That was rejected. The court said they had every right to protect the environment. In fact, there's a case called Walton, which involved the environmental concerns concerning an airport in the UK, where the one of the judges famously asked in his speech, "Who speaks for the warbler?" Now, the warbler is a bird, and this rhetorical question underscores the importance of considering the interests of wildlife and the environment in decisions regarding the development of projects.
Yes.
Now, John and Jackie made clear in their evidence that there was a number of environmental, in Barbuda, you've got the red-toed tortoise, you've got the wild deer, you've got various plants and wildlife which would be affected, and the judges said very clearly that these things are legitimate things for people in Barbuda to protect. And in fact, it went even further than that. And here's the reason why the Barbuda judgment is really important. it, the law, the judges provide examples of different types of individuals who might have standing in environmental cases, such as bird watchers, fishermen, historians, local residents. In other words, it gives a very broad interpretation of standing to ensure that there's a wide range of voices and interests that are represented in environmental litigation, which promotes fairness, transparency, and accountability in decision-making process rather than that relate to environmental issues.
Certainly. Could you walk us down a little bit of what happened in at the Privy Council? I was present, but I know many of my audience might not remember, and you would understand what was happening with regards to the Lords. A lot of questions. The Lord, I was there. I was present. The Lords are asking a lot of questions. I mean, they were saying, what about the consultation? Why wasn't a consultation done?
Well,
I think this was Judge. I think I have the notes. I need to get back to my notes. But the judge was saying, was the
it was Lord Leggett. Lord
yeah,
Leggett was really concerned and was asking David, Dr. David Dorset, a number of questions about the consultation process and whether the consultation process took place. And what was clear was the consultation process did not take place, and the government could not show, and the burden was on the government to show that proper consultation took place, and
yeah.
which would mean that the whole, and in fact the court makes it clear that this project was an illegal project. It should not have taken place without consulting the people of Barbuda. That consultation never took place. The government wasn't able to show that the consultation took place. When they were tasked, when they were given an opportunity, show us, they couldn't show. Didn't happen.
So,
In fact, it's unbelievable that you should get to the Privy Council, the highest court in our system, and you haven't got, you cannot show that the project was a lawful project.
but the government is still pushing this project. The government is saying, and even at the Privy Council, Dr. David Dorset was saying the airport is already built. He said the airport is there.
What? So what? So what?
He said that
If the if,
he said the airport
let,
is
let,
there.
yeah, and what can be
Um,
what can be built can be unbuilt. What you if you construct it brick by brick, you can take it down brick by brick. You know the where look, I can't put this any simpler than this. If you or I construct something illegally, contrary to the DCA's ruling, they can put on us what's known as an enforcement order, requiring us to take it down, and an enforcement order requiring us to put the land back as far as possible in the position it was in. And if that means replanting, that means replanting. The rule of law applies to everyone. No one is above the law. Now, whether or not that happens, that is a determination, firstly, for the DCA's consideration, and they need to consider things in an appropriate and reasonable way. And if they refuse to do so, they can be forced by the courts. So ultimately, this could come down to a decision of the courts. And if the government insists that it's not going to do anything, despite the fact of the Privy Council's ruling, we're going to be back in court. It's as simple as that.
I have something for you to listen. I have this clip I'm going to play, and then I'd like your response. I'll tell you the date and details of the clip afterwards.
Dialogue, but I sense that there's some deep-seated opposition to the issue of moving to the CCJ in particular. And admittedly, it's not just our political opponents, but within the body politic, there are many people who tell you, oh, they don't trust our own judges. They prefer to have, a Caucasian several thousand miles away presiding over our justice system. Those are some of the suspicions that will have to be addressed in due course. And this is perhaps where the dialogue is important to allay our people of those fears, because they're not real. We have some of the best trained jurists anywhere in the world, and they're people of integrity. And I don't know why individuals would indirectly impugn their integrity by suggesting that they don't have the capacity to objectively preside over cases and to ensure that justice is preserved, and that they have to go to a foreign country to get justice. And the reality is, when you look at the amount of cases that reach the Privy Council, in essence, what our people are doing, they're literally condemning themselves to, let's say, the OECS Appellate Court, because generally speaking, they have the resources to go to the Privy Council. So in any event, they are depriving themselves of that third and final appellate court. And, again, with all the suspicions and perhaps misinformation and disinformation in the public domain, these very people who do not necessarily have access to the final appellate court in the United Kingdom, the Privy Council, have come to the flawed conclusion that they're better off maintaining a court to which they have no access. The irony.
Yes, I knew it. And I noticed.
Your thoughts, Professor?
Interestingly, I agree with Mr. Brown. There is absolutely nothing wrong with the CCJ. I think the CCJ, I agree, the CCJ is a court of integrity. The jurists there are just as good as the judges in the Privy Council. And personally, I am a fan of the CCJ. But hang on a second. The question is this: would the CCJ have given any different decision than the Privy Council? And I have to say the answer is a resounding no. Even if this case had come before the CCJ, the answer would have been exactly the same. And in fact, here's the thing. The CCJ has proven itself to be an even more progressive and environmentally conscious court than the Privy Council. So you played Mr. Gaston Brown's clip for me. I agree with him. What Mr. Brown says about not having trust in the CCJ, I think is right. I think more trust should be put into the CCJ. But the real question is, would it have made a difference? And the answer is no. I have no doubt whatsoever that if Mussington and Frank had gone before the CCJ, the answer would have been the same.
I have another clip for you to listen to and to get your feedback.
And my understanding is that the Glan lawyers were telling the Privy Council that is just a little airstrip that can be ripped up. Them did like it forward. And I understand that our lawyers didn't stand up and make the Privy Councillors. I don't know, sometimes, that our people just afraid to speak when they challenge outside of Antigua and Barbuda, because plenty of them have plenty, they're like local bullies. I am surprised that they didn't say, hold on, this is about $70 billion. You rip it up. Who gonna pay for it? Privy Council? Glan gonna pay for it. The Council gonna pay for it. Trevor Walker gonna pay for it. What other boy they name? Mussington gonna pay for it. I want to them. Now I am not saying here that if that there are environmental issues, they should not be remedied. I'm not saying they don't have any locus. I'm not discussing the merits of the case. Right. But I don't know, foolishness is them. They telling the court how we must go and rip up the airport and block down everything. What kind of madness is that? $70 million for a developing country?
About what would that achieve?
Exactly.
Boy, you know what? What would ripping it up achieve? Well, I'm told that one of the privy councillors may have even commented the fact that maybe they should just stop the project and allow them to go elsewhere.
Just let it fade into nothing.
But then we will get the $70 million to build back an airport. Allow who to go elsewhere? Well, to make us build the airport elsewhere. I don't even just idle chatter, but I mean, abandon one that is already there. But I'm wondering. But what happened? I don't think that our people, and that is where our lawyers perhaps didn't speak up and to say to them, hey, this is an airport that is already built, already constructed. All that is needed now is a single survey. And then we decommission the old one, or commission this one and decommission the old one. We're literally weeks away, maybe 2-3 weeks away. Okay. And I can't believe that our attorneys just sat there and said nothing while some one of them privy councils is of the view that is some kind of insignificant strip that we can just go and rip up or abandon.
Your thoughts, Professor?
Well, that's not the court that I was sitting in, and I think that's a little harsh on the lawyers who are representing the state agencies.
Let me just 1 second. Sorry, let me just add the date of that is just the Saturday after the Privy Council on the 8th of November, the following Saturday.
The date is neither here nor there. The point that I'm making is I think that's a little harsh on the lawyers who were representing the state agencies. Mr. Marshall and Dr. Dorset were doing their best with what they had. So I'm not gonna stand here and criticize the lawyers. The issue is not with the lawyers. The issue is with the facts. The facts are the facts, and if you don't have the facts to argue, you can't argue. David Dorset did say quite clearly, the Privy Council case is recorded. You don't take my word for it. Just listen to the recording. Mr. Marshall and Dr. Dorset made it absolutely crystal clear to the justices that the airport was built. That was their argument. Their argument was this was entirely academic. So I'm not quite sure what the Prime Minister is referring to there, because that argument was made and was made strongly, but the justices rejected it. That's the point. Just because something has been built is not a defense if it's been built illegally. We are a country of laws. We are a country of laws, due process. Things have to be done lawfully. You can't build something unlawfully and just say, well, it's done, built, that's the end of it, move on. That's not how the law works.
So, Professor, what are the next steps for our claimants?
So, I'm in correspondence with some of my opposite numbers. I'm still awaiting a reply. If I don't receive a reply, we'll move to the next phase. But I fear that this case will end back in the High Court for a determination on the unlawfulness or the alleged unlawfulness of the airport, and then we'll take it from there in terms of enforcement action. But we're going to. This case is likely to end back in the High Court if we don't get a response. A letter has gone out.
Okay, I was going to say, when the judgment was handed down, in the briefing, it was mentioned that the Antigua-Barbuda Airport Authority had reached out. Are you able to share what they wanted or what that conversation was about?
That's correct. The AA had the Antigua and Barbuda Airport Authority AA has reached out. We've responded to them. I don't know what they want because they haven't responded to our letter yet.
Okay.
And in fairness to them, even if they had responded, I wouldn't be sharing with that on the air because that's between lawyers and that's between the litigation. But the answer to your question is yes. They did reach out, and we have responded to them, and we're waiting a response back.
Okay. And I just want to make a correction in asking the question with regards to what's next for your claimants. I said, what's next for our claimants? Like I'm a part of your legal team. So I wanted to correct that.
I know what you meant. I know what you meant.
With regards to this particular question, and how can the government and the state agencies ensure that the environmental laws and regulations are upheld and respected in development projects? But I want you to tie that in a response of understanding if the government even or the government agencies respect the importance of respecting these laws.
Well, what I would say, I don't, again, I don't want to get into he said, she said, because I think that raises the temperature unnecessarily. And, I think that we're all grown ups and we all know what the law is. We can sit down and we can be reasonable, or we can try to be reasonable in these things. Yeah. I think what I would say, Nikki, is this. We need to ensure that our environmental laws and regulations are upheld, that they're respected when we are doing developments. We need to ensure that buildings are done in a sustainable way for the community well-being. And what I would say is that government and state agencies must prioritize transparency in their decision making. It's really important that there's proper public participation and adherence to legal procedures. And that must involve and include proper environmental assessments. If there's a community that's affected, you've got to engage with them. You've got to win hearts and minds. And you've got to mitigate potential environmental impacts through effective planning and regulation enforcement. That's the reason why we've got a DCA. And now, if you don't have an environmental impact assessment, you've immediately failed in your duties, because the law says, particularly when you're dealing with airport construction, you have to have an EIA. So, the things I'm saying that it's not me making it up. This is the law. I'm a lawyer and I'm just saying this is what the law says. This is what you have to do. It's simple. All John and Jackie have been asking for is that the law is followed. If EIAs are conducted and they say, yeah, there's no problem in building an international airport, international airport can be built here, fine. Nobody's got any beef with that. But you've got to follow the law. This is not pedantic. This has got real serious, real life consequences for people. What I say about the drinking water is a serious issue. What I say about noise pollution is a serious issue. What I say about wildlife is a serious issue. You don't have any other place on this planet that you have the Barbudan red-toed turtle. It's the only place on the planet. These are serious issues, not frivolous issues.
In the debriefing or during the debriefing, you mentioned a few risks of regarding civil liabilities. Could you elaborate a little bit on that? As I'm looking at my notes, you mentioned that technically the airport is unlawful, and you mentioned the sinkholes, this not having a safe runway. You mentioned, of course, the EIA and consultation. You just also mentioned the ground contamination. But can we speak of possible casualties should the government continue to move forward with the way things are, and open the airport and start business to receive these mega jets?
it speaks for itself, and I'm not going to go into that because I'm not going to reveal my strategy should the government persist in a certain direction. And you'll forgive me for not
Of
flagging
course.
up my strategy.
Of course. Of course. I would like you to add anything else that we didn't get a chance to set the record straight on with regards to the Barbuda Airport case. And then I would love for us to move on to the Grenfell inquiry so we can inform our audience a little bit about that and a little bit on the Hillsborough.
Well, the last thing I want to say, that the Barbuda case goes way beyond Barbuda. You know, I want to talk about the global relevance of that case, because the principles established in the Barbuda case have implications way beyond Antigua and Barbuda. Remember, environmental issues are of global concern, and legal cases like this one set precedents that can influence environmental policies and decision making worldwide. You know, the recognition of a much broader standing for individuals in environmental cases reflects a growing understanding in the courts that there's a real interconnectedness between human activities and the environment, and this transcends national boundaries. This is not a case that just touches Barbuda or Antigua. This goes way beyond the Caribbean region. This is a case that touches global issues, and that's the importance of it.
Anything else you wish to add on that? I'm actually just looking through a few questions prepared so we can cover every
No,
aspect of. We're good
no,
to
I think we've covered it very fully.
Okay. Can we talk a little bit about Grenfell? Just to give our audience, I know that you're involved in the inquiry, if we can give them a summary or a rundown timeline summary of Grenfell Tower Fire.
So I thought your introduction on Grenfell was very good. It was the worst fire in peacetime in the United Kingdom's history, with the largest loss of life. And you know, I know this sounds a little bit trite, but if you imagine that when I grew up, when I was growing up, there was a film called The Towering Inferno. Don't know if you remember that film, where it was a Hollywood movie where this huge tower block was ablaze. In a way, Grenfell was like that. That Grenfell was when we watched it, and I remember watched it in 2017 in the early summer, unfolding before my eyes, and it was just a complete nightmare. You know, I had clients of mine who lost entire families. One client in particular was so distressed, so distraught, was trying to get back into the building and was stopped by police. And his family, he lost 6 members of his family, and they were all on the top floor. And, you know, that man has never been the same. The trauma, you know, and here's the thing about this horrendous tragedy. It touched all ages, from the very young to the elderly. It touched all social classes, because there were, you know, the tower was a vibrant community for many different classes of people, from working class, from retired people, from working families, from middle class families, and it touched all races. That was the one thing about Grenfell. It was one of these areas in London. There was a tower block in London where it was a huge melting pot of different nationalities, different races, different tongues being spoken, and all of those people touched by one common enemy, fire.
Right.
And the real tragedy was people didn't need to die. There were problems in terms of the construction of the building. There was problems in terms of the cladding. That was the material that some of the contractors put onto the tower block to kind of pretty it up. Yeah, they put these colourful cladding on the concrete slabs to make it not look so dreary. But the thing is, the cladding that they put on the building, they stuck to the building, was highly inflammable and just created a tinderbox. And the flame, and once the fire started on the 4th floor. There was a defective kitchen, defective refrigerator, which overheated and started a fire. Now, that's just life. That's just one of those things.
Yes.
Any one of us could buy a defective, faulty electrical item. But if the apartments had been constructed properly and contained, that fire should have been contained within that apartment and not spread as across the entirety of the tower block, and as quickly as it did. And there was a lot of expert evidence showing just how fast the fire spread was because of the materials and the way that the place had been refurbished.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's the thing about Grenfell, it had recently been refurbished in recent times with this cladding. So it was a real tragedy. And for me, what really struck me were the stories and the testimonies that the surviving families had for their loved ones. There were couples who died. There were young people who had their entire lives ahead of them, where they had hopes and dreams, and those hopes and dreams dashed in one night. A real tragedy. It was
It's just to interject, because I know we spoke about this, and it's a bit personal for me because my in-laws have individuals. I have family that lost family members. Because I think you and I were talking about it. I didn't get to give you all the information, but there's about 2 family members that lost. One person that we know lost, I think, a mother and a brother, and another person that we know lost maybe about 4 or 5 individuals during the fire. And it's so personal. Like when I saw that, from your bio, that you're involved in the inquiry for Grenfell, I ran to my husband and I give my husband the phone. I said, "Can you believe my guest tonight? This is my guest tonight," because it's really personal. And I was we covered it on Voice of the People in Antigua, and the news covered it, but nobody understood how serious it was and how painful it was, because individuals were told to stay in the building, and the
stay
building to stay put. And I think that's the key thing we should be talking about, because also it says, according to my research, and because you're involved in the inquiry, you can verify the issue with the fridge. The fire brigade did come and put out that fire and left, and then the fire started back again. I don't know if that part of information is accurate. No, just one time.
That's not correct.
Okay.
That's not. No. The fire brigade came, but the fire spread from that 4th floor was uncontrollable. It moved very fast. In fact, the person who was in that flat managed to get out, but they were lucky they got out. And the real issue was they had time there was time for the fire brigade to evacuate, particularly the upper floors, but they were telling people to stay put.
Yeah.
So, and you know, people, a large number of people listened because they thought the professionals knew best and knew better, and the professionals were wrong. They were wrong. When they sent people back, people were being sent back to their death. Simple.
And what's the argument within the inquiry? If you can just give us a little bit about that. I know the report is supposed to be out soon.
Well, there were many arguments in relation to if we just take the design, the cladding, the material, whether they knew the material was inflammable, that they were sticking on the sides of the building. The problem is, and this came out quite clear during the questioning, nobody was prepared to accept responsibility. It wasn't us. We weren't there. We weren't responsible for this. Oh, we just bought the material. We didn't know it was about the inflammability, or we knew about the inflammability, but they should have known. We didn't know what they were going to be using it for. And you know, it was not me, them. That was the argument. It was passing the buck, shifting responsibility, and we had, you know, a lot of evidence, and it didn't stop there. Local government was responsible, didn't take a proper supervisory role. Central government played a part. Everybody was complicit, and ends up with bearing some responsibility. But as I say, and as you just said, the report's going to be coming out soon. We'll see who the report points fingers at. But in terms of the evidence, a lot of people, in my opinion, don't end up looking good.
The
Very
hills,
sad.
certainly, it's just more than sad. There are no words to describe, you know, because I don't think the families and individuals who are closely connected can never be the same. You know, they
I
can
agree.
never be the same. With regards to the Hillsborough, am I saying it? The Hillsborough?
Hillsborough, yeah.
Hillsborough. The Hillsborough inquiry regarding Liverpool and the Liverpool fans that was crushed. Can you give us a little bit about that too, just to give us a recap of that? And is that report was already published, or that should be publishing soon?
Oh no, that's been published.
Okay.
At that inquest, a jury found, because it was done with a jury, the jury found that the fans who died attending that football match were killed unlawfully as a result of negligence, essentially. Because what happened was, when the police did not police the grounds properly, and they cornered all the fans into a little tunnel. They kept the gates, you know, the turnstiles. When you go into a stadium, you got these turnstiles that you got to go through. You know, one by one, you push the barrier and you go through, and the next person goes through. You know, these turnstile barriers. What they did, because they allowed the fans to congregate and swell, all the fans were pushing against the gate, and so in the end they opened the gate and all the fans rushed through. But at the end was a fence, and the more fans that came through, the ones that were up against the fence got crushed. And when you're in a crowd crush like that, there's nothing you can do. You know, you get swept along and you get pushed up against the fence, and so many people died from crush injuries. And that was as a result of poor policing, no foresight, not opening the gates early enough, and the jury found very clearly the mistakes that were made amounted to these people being unlawfully killed.
And after the report was published, with regards to stadiums, I think in my research it stated that the seating arrangements has changed to some extent. Can you give us
Yeah,
on that?
absolutely. So in the past, what they used to do at these stadiums was have standing pens. People would, if you went to a soccer match, a football match, people would stand and watch the match in pens, right? When I say pens, it was literally, you'd be in this container with a fence in front and fences at the side, and people would stand up. And they've changed that now so that all stadia now are seated. So you can't stand. Everybody's got a seat, which is a better idea. Which means there's less chance of crushing, and also if you've got seated stadia, you know how many people you can let in and let out. If people are coming in and standing in a pen, it's more of an estimate. But if you've got ticketed stadia, then you know the numbers, and so you know how many people are going to come in, and you can control the crowds in that way.
COVID inquiry. This one is most recent. I'm quite familiar with this one because I've been here following with it. I see that this was, I think, if you can correct me again, this was one of the reasons why Boris Johnson had resigned. Because I think during COVID, some WhatsApp messages came out where I think the Prime Minister Boris Johnson and members of his party were having parties, I think, during COVID. I'm not sure, you can clarify with us.
That's correct. There were a number of parties that the government had during the COVID in breach of the rules, but that wasn't the reason why Boris resigned in the end. He resigned in the end because one of his whips, his deputy whip, was accused of assaulting, sexually assaulting or sexually harassing one of his aides. And in the end, Boris decided to resign over that. But I understand why you think that it was about the parties. The parties were just one in a line of scandals, and in the end, Boris decided to resign. But it wasn't a COVID-related reason why Boris resigned in the end.
I haven't come across a sexual harassment article. Was there any articles about it? The news covered it?
It's his deputy whip, a man called Chris Pincher. And Boris made a comment: Pincher by name, Pincher by nature.
Pincher by name, Pincher. Okay. So can you tell us about the COVID inquiry?
Allegedly.
I like that. The lawyer saying allegedly. The irony. So can you tell us a little bit about the COVID inquiry, what's going on with that? And then I know that, you and I are up at the same time. I can't be unfair to you with your time. So I know that we have maybe about 50 minutes, 5-10 minutes more, and we can wrap up.
Yeah, so in the COVID inquiry, I'm representing a really interesting group of people. I'm representing a series of healthcare workers who are doctors, nurses, carers, psychiatrists, anybody who works in the health service, the National Health Service. I'm representing, but it's a consortium of ethnic minority healthcare workers, and they're known as the Federation of Ethnic Minority Healthcare Organisations, who've come together, and I'm representing 55,000 clients. And essentially what my clients want to know is, in the UK, there was a disproportionate number of black and brown people who died during the pandemic. Significant disproportionality compared to their white counterparts. And there are a number of reasons for that, but it had nothing to do with, the fact that somebody's black or brown. it was to do with, in our NHS system, our national health system, it's staffed by predominantly, a large proportion of ethnic minority healthcare workers. Traditionally, the UK health service has always had a lot of black doctors, brown doctors, and because of discrimination, structural discrimination, in a lot of these doctors have the lowest jobs, or are on the front line. And when the figures in March, April 2020, when the figures started coming in, what was really interesting, the first 10 doctors to die in the UK were all black.
What?
And that made people think, oh, is it something unique about black people? No. The reason for it was they were on the front line. They had the front facing roles. So they were, because they were more junior, or less likely that their counterparts, their white counterparts, proportionately less likely to be in front facing roles, they had greater exposure to the virus. So that's who I'm representing in the COVID inquiry.
That's going to lead me to us speaking a little bit about your participation in diversity and inclusion, especially here in the UK. I think for my Caribbean brothers and sisters, I don't think we understand the privilege that we have in the Caribbean of being Black and being Caribbean.
Yeah, what's really lovely for me when I come home and I'm in the Caribbean, it's just so nice. The Caribbean has its issues, but one of the issues isn't discrimination because you're black, because everybody, to that extent, everybody's on a level playing field.
Mm-hmm.
In the UK, what I would like your listeners to understand, it's not easy, at times when you're facing challenges because of your color. And people say, but Leslie, you're a KC. Surely it doesn't happen to you. I say it happens to everyone at some point. Maybe to a lesser extent to me now than it did when I was a junior attorney, a junior barrister. But I would struggle to find a person of colour who hasn't had some sort of discrimination levelled against them at some stage in their life or in their career.
I've had it here. I've
Yeah.
experienced it here on the simplest of occasions too. I've experienced it. And I think that one of the things that we have to do as Black people is to understand who we are and understand our strength and stand in ourselves, and own who we are. And I think it's an honor to be able to, have a brother like yourself here in the UK doing the work that you're doing, because it's really important. If we can talk a little bit about diversity and inclusion, I think since I've been in the UK, walking around, if I go to a bar, I don't really go to bars. I shouldn't use that example. I've never even had the pub experience yet. But I would say that if I'm going anywhere, if we're going to any institution or place, the front face you'll see for somebody who's opening the door, or somebody who's serving the drinks, or somebody who's the security, it's always a Black face, like my brother or sister. And when I see a Black face, a brother like yourself doing what you're doing here, I use the opportunity immediately. I jump at that opportunity to use this platform, Phoenix Free Press, and to broadcast to the world that, hey, there's another brother here and this is what he's doing. So I'm really, really honored that you've taken the time to come and sit with us. And the importance was to set the record straight with regards to the Barbuda airport case, these conversations that are happening within the airwaves, so that you can have a voice also, and state your case or state your claim, if I can say it like that. I'd love for us to come back again and talk more about diversity, because there's some key things I want to touch on that, but I'm not going to keep you much longer. The final question area we're going to go, you mentioned in the beginning regarding the same COVID inquiry that you cross-examined Boris Johnson and Rishi Sunak. Now, Rishi Sunak is our prime minister now, and he was the second in command to Boris Johnson. I think he was.
That's right. He was the Chancellor of the Exchequer.
And then he resigned. He resigned, and
He
then
was,
yes, and then we had Liz Truss, who was here for 48 days. Was it 48? And then
was it as long as that?
with the lettuce. And then we had our brother,
Rishi.
no, that's prime minister, but I'm thinking of the financial, the
Oh,
gentleman.
Quasi.
Quasi, yes, where one of his colleagues said that he was superficially black, and she had to resign. Cross examining the prime ministers, both prime ministers. What were their reaction? How did they respond to you? Did you experience anything there? Anything there? I'm just gonna say it like that. Did you experience anything there?
Anybody can watch it. You can watch the cross-examination of both of me cross-examining Boris and Rishi. I should say questioning actually, but yeah. So I thought Boris was a little bit disappointing. I got the impression he wasn't quite prepared, whereas Rishi I thought was very, very prepared. He gave and wasn't giving anything away. So that was really interesting, the way that they both approached or appeared to approach the inquiry. One thing they had in common, neither of their memories were very good when they were asked questions. Can't remember. It's amazing that you can make it all the way to the office of Prime Minister and have a faulty memory.
Conveniently. I can't remember. I think I'm going to use that too. I can't remember. Leslie, I really want to thank you for spending the time with us. I want to give you the opportunity. Any comments, final words, statement, anything that we want to add before you?
No, I think the only thing I would like to say is, look, it's been a real honour being here. Thank you for the privilege of allowing me to share this platform with you and speaking with you to your lovely listeners. And I hope that I clarified one or two things. And yeah, I've enjoyed it. It's been great. It's late here though. I need to get some sleep.
Yeah, I need to get some sleep too, but we end at 2, so I have another 24 minutes unless I can pull a, you know what I was gonna say. One of our members in the audience says, "Pincher by name and nature." This made me laugh. Some of the comments.
That's what Boris said, allegedly.
That's what he laughed too. It was just a joke.
No. That's what he was reported to have said.
Wow, as in seriously, he actually said that. So is it? Am I able to?
I didn't make that up.
Am I able to make that comparison with what Trump had said in the sense with the grab word?
I don't know.
No need to comment. Remember, you cannot remember, and no comment, and all these things work.
Yeah.
Let's share some comments before you go. Audley Phillips says the Barbudans were well represented by a truly impressive, knowledgeable, and obviously brilliant KC. We need more of you around our parts, Professor Thomas KC. We don't have enough people fighting for our rights here. You warm my heart.
Oh, that's very kind. Thank you very much. I really, there's, actually, there are some great lawyers in the Caribbean. I've come across some great lawyers. Maybe not enough, but there are some good lawyers. I've come across some.
Okay, this comment says to the point, and this comment came in to the point when you said you weren't going to basically show your hand or tell us a little bit of the cards of what you're going to go with next. So that was pretty to the point in the comments. Um, I might need to jump over to the other page, but I'm going to read those comments and you and I can follow up. I really want to thank you, Professor Leslie Thomas Casey. I sincerely, sincerely thank you for the time, for the dedication, for the information that you've shared here with us. I look forward to us having more conversations, and thank you.
You're welcome.
Certainly. Take care.
Take
Thank
care.
you so
Bye bye.
much. Bye bye. All right, guys, that was our guest, Professor Leslie Thomas. It's 1:26 a.m. my time and our guest's time. Guess who's going to bed now? No, not me. Okay. We just have a few more minutes, a couple of minutes. I cannot wrap up the program to let you guys know I got something coming. It's coming, it's coming, it's coming. What does Nikki have coming? I'm going to make myself extremely vulnerable. What does Nikki mean by that? Well, I have a project. I mentioned on my page that I have a project. I'm working on this project and I'm going to do this thing live. I'm going to put it on live, like, here, take a look at this. Look at what Nikki is doing. Okay, take a look at what Nikki's doing. And then you guys can what? Support, 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 support. But you have to be here in the UK to support, because my participation, my project, my challenge that I'm challenging myself is going to be for the 1st of April. Yes, it's Easter Monday across the world, but we call it a bank holiday here. So on Easter Monday, my friend Carlotta McPherson for CC Surprises. She's going to give us a surprise. CC has I'm looking for the flyer so I can give you guys all the details. Once you're here in the UK, you need to be coming out at CC Surprises event. It's a kite flying event. It's on the 1st of April. As I mentioned, your girl is going to be there. Yeah, I'm going to be there, not only with the mic and, in your face, having ice pops, having fun, because we need to get into our culture. I mean, it's Guyanese UK link up. That's it. The Guyanese UK Easter Monday link up. You need to be there. I mean, Cece is going to be providing all the cocktails, your metangy and fried fish, your roast pork, your roast lamb. You're going to get some lemon cake and banana cake. Bank holiday. So whether you're in Birmingham, or you in Liverpool, or you in London, wherever you are, you guys need to be coming out. And coming out where? Somebody's gonna ask me, Nikki, where is it? I'm gonna have to look. Nikki, where is this that you're talking about? It's at Ashburn Park. Ashburn Park. Even if you want to WhatsApp me, message me, I can give you the location. I'll give you the postcode is what I should say, huh? I'll give you the postcode so you can find it. The 1st of April. Easter Monday. Your girl Nikki Phoenix. I'm challenging myself to do something big. No, a small project, but big. You know what I mean? Big meaning I'm just putting myself out there and let you guys see what's happening. And I need you once you're here in the UK. And even if you're not here in the UK, you have a granny over here. You have aunties, you have uncles, you have peoples. Send your people down, okay? And I'll give you more information. And next Saturday, trust me, next Saturday's live, I should be able to have some of my creative work. Ooh, I'm nervous. Like, you guys need to know. But some of my creative work will be on display so I can get you guys to come out on Easter Monday. And, I feel so honored. Why I feel so honored is because, my supporters are just far and wide. Sometimes people would see my live and you see these little numbers or whatever, but the support is real. I have somebody who messaged me all the way from Guyana. I'm not going to call the name. You're going to see the pictures and you're going to see the live all the way from Guyana, and they said to me, Nikki, I'm going to be in the UK on April 1st. I want to come and see you. I was like, oh, sure, come on down to Ashbourne Park in Croydon. I said, I'm going to be there from 12 until 6. You're going to have to talk to me there. You're going to have to support your girl. You're not just coming to see me, man. You're going to come and buy some of my products. What products is Nikki talking about? You got to join the live. How else are you going to know? Anyway, that's enough on that. No, it's not enough. There's more. But we're going to stick a pin on that. And I'm going to ask you guys the question, what happened to the executive meeting the ABLP had last night? What happened in the meeting? Why the place so quiet? After all that hoorah, after all the hoorah of the hoorah, why is it so quiet? You want to know why it's quiet? Because they said they're going to do a poll, buddy. If you didn't know, now you know. No runoff. That's it. We're not having a runoff. There's no runoff. What I mean, there's not going to be a runoff between Lamin and Regis Burton. No runoff. That's what they said. They said who they. You want me to read all the messages for you? You want me to give you it in detail? Just to give it to me, Nikki, and then I'll give it to you. Can I just give it just if you don't say you want it? No, say give it to me, Nikki, and I'll give it to you. However, if you don't say, I can't give it to you. So no runoff. No, it's not going to happen. There's no runoff going to be happening. There's going to be a poll. Okay. There's going to be 2 polls. Let me be correct. There's going to be 2 polls. One of the polls is going to be conducted by Peter Wickham. Now, everybody know Peter Wickham. Everybody know Peter Wickham sings, hang for his supper whenever he's doing polls for the ABLP. Duh. So, Peter Wickham is going to be doing the first poll, one of the 2 polls that are going to poll to see if people want Lamin or if they want Regis. Now, I think Lamin should just put on his biography or on his resume, whenever he's going to send his resume out, he's going to say, I was a candidate for a day. Don't feel no way. Don't feel no way, brother. I've never been a candidate. You, that's watching me right now, you've never been a candidate. But Lamin has. Don't be a hater on Lamin, even if Lamin was a candidate for a day. Okay, it's worth it. You've never been a candidate. You've never heard the Prime Minister say, I want to congratulate Lamin and I want to make it resoundingly clear, abundantly clear that Lamin is the winner. And you never hear the Prime Minister say that about you. Why are you feeling away? Why are you feeling away? Lamin, you have been a candidate for a day. We know this poll is not going to come in your favor. Like we know this poll is not going to come in your favor. Like we know, you know? And the second place or person that's going to do the poll is some guy named Don something in Jamaica. But he's going to be paid by the ABLP again. And listen, make sure I correct myself. This is not government business. A party matters this. Okay? Not government business. So I'm all up in the party matters now, you know. Not just the government matters, not party matters. Because what matters to them matters to us, matters to me, matters to you, matters to all are we. Because we need to know. We need to know. So the guy, thank you, Audley, Don Anderson is going to be doing the second poll to see if the people want Lamin or if the people want Regis. Now I'm going to ask the question, if you're going to pay Don to do it, what do you think Don is going to say to you? Because, you know, it's your money. You're telling Don what you want, right? Why aren't you listening to the people? What about the people in All Saints? Don live in Jamaica. Peter Wickham live in Barbados. Why they in All Saints West business? When All Saints West balling to the bottom of the stomach. And I want them in. You heard it for yourself. You need a whole poll for that. No, I don't need no poll for that, man. You do not need a poll to see where you see clear as day. And the other point is, Lamin does not want to go to a runoff. He said he doesn't want to do a runoff, or allegedly he said he doesn't want to do a runoff. Okay? He doesn't want to do a poll. But the question is, whatever happened to that 80 votes? Whatever happened to the 80 votes from Regis Burton's letter? What happened to that? But why they doing a poll instead of doing a runoff? Why they doing a poll? Nikki, why they doing a poll instead of a runoff? You know why they doing a poll instead of a runoff? Why? Why you think they're choosing a poll? Just drop a comments. Why you think they're choosing a poll instead of a runoff? Because it is alleged, I'm going to use alleged. I don't have it in my phone. We'll still say alleged. It is alleged that the Prime Minister does not want this debacle to split up the party. He don't want everything to come crumbling down. He does not want London Bridge to fall. Okay? He doesn't want London Bridge to fall. So he's saying, listen, we're not going back there. We're not going back to the polls. We're going to say that this particular primary that we had, I want to use the word that they use. Have you ever gone and done a test, like maybe a blood test, or you do some kind of test, and the test comes back inconclusive? What does inconclusive means? Eh? What does inconclusive mean? The test came back inconclusive. Because when they're going to say to me that the results from the primary is inconclusive, what can go so when we see it clear as day? And the document is there. If you haven't reached 51%, there is a runoff. Fine, no runoff. They say no runoff. They say no runoff. You know, Regis didn't have a problem. I don't know. Another Regis is camp, but I'm saying for me, if I was Regis, I have a problem. You know, I have a problem. I was not announced the winner in the first place. I was not just a winner for 24 hours. I wasn't. I wasn't the man for 24 hours. Now, if anybody can tell me you're the man today and then tomorrow you're like, you're not the man, or you're the woman today, you're not the woman tomorrow, I'm going to be hurt. But Regis cool. Regis just cool like cucumber. Bring the poll on, because you saw that poll on Pineapple 268. That's for Candace Samuel. She does her stuff. Giving her a round of applause. Pineapple 268. She does her thing. Okay? The poll said no for Lamin. A resounding no. No, no, no. Not you, Lamin. Okay? Next. Not you. Next. Not you, Lamin. Next. Not you. That's what it says. That's what the poll said. It's not me. The poll said it. So Regis now just cool like a cucumber. I see Regis post a nice picture with him in the, with his microphone and thing. Because Regis is like, y'all know this what y'all want. Y'all know I got it. Y'all know I got the brains, the looks, I got the books. Regis is the man with the plan, okay? Lamin was the man with the plan. No, Lamin even had no plan. What Lamin have? Well, anyway, I need to read to you what Mary Claire Hurst had responded to Regis with. You want to hear? Because you need to know, Remember the 2 letters we leaked? We read them here on the platform. We send them out. We broadcasted them. Everybody get them, including... all right, let's not go there. We're about to wrap up. Let's not go there. Let's be nice. Let's be nice tonight. Or not. So, let's read Mary Claire Hurst's response to Regis Burton after he put out that letter. Let's read it. Hold on. Quick. Let's get it. Let's hear what Mary Claire Hurst said to Lamin Newton. Lamin Newton. No, not Lamin. What am I saying? What did she say to Lamin? That we need to know. But yes, let's read. Let's read. So Regis Burton sent his letter, the letter that said about the 50%, the 51%, and the runoff. The letter also mentioned about the missing 80 votes and all these different things and things. Excuse me. So Mary Claire Hurst said to Lamin. Why am I keep saying Lamin? Mary Claire said to Regis Burton. You ready? You didn't hear it. If you did, cool. But there are individuals who didn't. So, yeah, let's go. Dear Comrade Burton, your correspondence was read, and I surprised that you would... I didn't read that wrong. You want me to start over? You're rude. I didn't say it wrong. Sometimes I say wrong stuff, but I didn't do that one wrong. Come on. Dear Comrade Burton, your correspondence was read, and I surprised that you would state that the final list had discrepancies, which you outlined when you got the list on March 4th, and they were rectified. There were duplicate names, and I told you I would not remove them because persons have the same names, and you agreed. It was verified last night, which was the Friday night for the primary, where several people showed up with the same name. You stated that Labour Party members were eliminated from the list. This happened because they were not financial. I invited you to come in with the names that you said were omitted and view the raw data. You gave me the list, I checked, and they were added. You never objected to this list. Last night, you spoke to me and let me go back. Last night, you spoke to me about one individual. I could not verify, and the person was not allowed. Regarding the number of votes that were casted last night, I sound a bit brush there. The only numbers that matter are the ones that came out of the ballot boxes, which I took the extra steps to ensure the security of the votes casted. I was speaking to somebody, just a little stick up in here. I was speaking to somebody about this particular point here, about what she said here. I'm going to read it back. That don't make no sense. Is that how it works? I need to get Ian Hughes back here on the platform to understand how this voting process works and how you put in the votes and what come out of the box, what goes in the box, what comes out of the box, the whole tally and the whole works. But she says here, regarding the number of votes that were casted last night, the only numbers that matter are the ones that came out of the ballot boxes, which I took the extra steps to ensure the security of the votes casted. All three agents signed the tape before the count started. Agents and secretariat could have made an error in checking off, but for certain, the ballot papers that went in the box were verified by the supervisor of elections and the auditors. Regarding the letter that was signed, the executive should decide. That's what it says. Regarding the letter that was signed, the executive should decide. So that this was after or before the meeting they had last night. It is clear what was signed, and you should present yourself to the executive and make your case. I will be out of the state for a few weeks, but upon my return, I will take instructions from the executive. Yours in comradeship. Change the P and Ada. Behave yourself. I will be out of the state. I will be out of the state for a few weeks, but upon my return, I will take instructions from the executive. Yours in comradeship, General Secretary. So this executive meeting that happened last night, Chet was not there. Did you know? Did you know that Chet Green from WTP Media was not there because he's not on island? That's a part of the executive. Mary Claire Hurst, the general secretary for the executive, she was not there either. How many other individuals were there for the executive? And then the executive decide that we're going to do a poll. I don't think that Regis and Lamin had a choice. I don't think that Regis and Lamin had a choice whether they want a poll or not. And like I said, before the meeting, because they had a meeting before the meeting, I think, or a meeting the day before the next meeting the next day, something like that. Demand by guys, I'm in the thing, another thing. There was a meeting the day before the day, or before the meeting day. You know what I mean? And in that meeting before the meeting, they said that no runoff. No runoff because it's going to just make London Bridge fall. London Bridge is going to completely fall. Right now, we have that shaking bridge now. But anything other than that, that's it. It's a wrap. That's it. So, guys, a poll will be had. So, the next question I said to both of my sources, Because one source don't know the other source, and your source not supposed to know the source, and source is not supposed sources of sources of sources. You know what I mean? So I said, when will that be? As in, when will they have the poll? Oh, we don't know. They didn't tell us. You know what they're going to do? They're going to appear with the poll. They're just going to appear with the poll and said the poll was done then and then and then. And the poll says Regis. Because if the poll says Lamin, everything fall across. Everything on ground, the whole, everything done, everything done, everything done, everything done. Okay. So they said 2 polls will be done. One by Peter Wickham and one by Don Anderson. Peter Wickham in Barbados, Don Anderson in Jamaica. All Saints West is just down there in Antigua there, and it's right around there. I think Lamin live in that area. Are we just running for that area? And Regis, just yeah. So who are the closest people? The voters, right? The voters. Why isn't the poll coming there? Why didn't you guys even get Candace to do this poll? Why didn't you come to the platform? Come to Facebook, because that's where all the answers is. Everybody telling you exactly what you need to know. Everybody is saying Lamin is a no. It's a no for me. It's just no. It's non-personal, but it's just no. Because even when he was announced as a candidate for the day, just for the Saturday, he didn't even seem happy or excited. He didn't even respond. He didn't say anything. He didn't even thank the. Hey, you know he did. He did. I think he did, saying thank you for your support and being the candidate, and I'm so excited to be a. But that was just for a day. I need to find a song that's a song for a day. I know that I know that Ibis does you for a day. Do you want to be Lamin for a day, Ibis? Ibis, come on. You can do it. You can be anything you want to be, Ibis. You can be anything you want to be. You can be Lamin for a day. That's what your show is called. You for a day. So if you want to clown out, you want to have some fun, Lamin is it. You for a day. But guys, we're going to wrap up. We got to go. I want to thank you all for your love, for your support, for your comments, your feedback, for every single thing that you do continuously, for the shares, for the likes, for the laughter, because we do have some good laughs here on the platform, and I'm very, very grateful for that. I'm grateful for your participation. I'm grateful for your comments. I did not even play the key. Hey, I got something for you guys. Wait. How are we gonna go and I don't put it here? I put it on there, but I should have put it here. Come on, I got this for you. Hold on.
Issues, the questions can be put to them, but do not use the opportunity when you have access to me, giving account of the government's stewardship, to be continually posing political questions. And I'm saying to you, this is the last time, Ms. Phoenix, this is the last time, this is the last time I'm going to permit you to put a question. Further from that, I will just not give you an answer.
I understand that. 1 second. I understand your position. I'm not here to upset you or offend you, but you have to understand my position as a journalist.
You need to do your work. You need to do your work. Find the political people to ask the political questions.
1 second. As the political people, isn't this man a politician? Melly Ferd, aren't you a politician, sir? Oh, no, you're not. You're just the Minister of Information that is not a politician. Okay. 1 second, let me just say my statement.
I'm sorry, I'm done with this. I'm done with this line of question. Mr. Burford, could you please switch? I'm done with that.
You hear that? He done with that. No, you're not. Melford, how are you going to be like that? Huh? Why you want to grass me up like that? We friends. Aren't we friends? Melford, aren't we friends? Come on.
Issues, the questions can be put to them, but do not use the opportunity when you have access to me, giving account of the government's stewardship, to be continually posing political questions. And I'm saying to you, this is the last time, Ms. Phoenix, this is the last time, this is the last time I'm going to permit you to put a question. Further from that, I will just not give you an answer.
I understand that. 1 second. I understand your position. I'm not here to upset you or offend you, but you have to understand my position as a journalist.
You need to
And
do
when
your
I
work.
post, I'm
You
doing
need to
the
do.
work, but I'm doing the work. Isn't this the work? Isn't this the work, Malifard? Melly, you know what? You just need to come and sit here. You see, like how we just had Professor Leslie Thomas, KC, Leslie, Melly, Melford, Honorable Melford, come on over here to Free Press 268 because we got to talk, you know. We got to talk. I need to do my work. Come on.
Your work. Find the
I
political
always do
people
my work.
to ask the political
Wait,
questions.
one second. One second. Let me just say my
I'm
statement.
sorry. I'm done
Just
with
one
this.
second.
I'm done with this line of
One second.
question. Mr. Burford, could you please switch? I'm done with that.
All right.
I'm done with that. I need a shirt that says that. I'm done with that. Yeah, I like it. Mr. Bedford, could you please switch? I like it, you know. But you know, I gotta say, never seen Honorable Medford Nicholas out of his skin like that. I haven't. I've never seen him like that. But I didn't do anything. Come on, I didn't do anything. Everybody wanted to know about the Regis and Lamin and this thing about Chet and Chet Green wanting Lamin Newton and Chet openly endorsing Lamin Newton. This little whisper around the place with regards to the fighting and the inside for the executive, the fight for leadership, and you know. Wait, let me go back so I can put Melford in the list. Burford is not Burford. You're cool and everything, but we
With
got.
this line of question. Mr.
Hey, put me and Melly in the screen. Come on, look at me, Melly. Turn it this way. Come again.
With this line of
That's it. That's it. Let's look at each other. So you can see I'm talking to you. Yes. Anyway. So this, he says, these questioning about the political whatever, it's not for that. He said the platform is not for that. It's just for questions on the post cabinet press briefing. It's the last time he's going to permit me to do it. And if I do it again, he's just not going to answer. I'm done with that, Melfred. I'm done with that. No, I'm not. But yeah. Melfred, why you get upset? You know what? You're not upset with me, you know. This is you channeling your frustration about what's going on in the executive. You did say you were part of the executive because when you started answering the question, you answered it nice, you gave me a fluff, whatever answer, and then you just thought I was going to move on and leave it alone. And maybe that's the part where you get upset. And then you mentioned that you were part of the executive, but you're a politician. You're a politician, sir. You're a part of the executive also. And whatever happens in the Antigua Barbuda Labour Party affects the country. It affects the government. It is the party that is in government. So whatever you have going on within your party, amongst yourself, what is fighting, whatever is going on there, the people need to know. You know, if the party is not stable, the people need to know. If there is a power struggle in the party, the people need to know. If the world boss is not really the world boss, we need to know. Is Chet the boss? Is Chet forcing Prime Minister Gaston Brown's hand? We need to know. Is Chet forcing everybody's hand? We need to know. We got to ask the questions. I have to ask the questions. I just have to. It's my role. It's my job. It's my duty to ask the question. It might not be the question that you want to hear or you want to answer, sir. But as the Minister of Information, you don't tell me ask this information, that information. Information is information. Information is information. Inform the people, man, and stop hide the things. Stop hide the things. All right? So we gotta go, but I see Audley have this comment here. I want to respond to this. Audley says, "Do you really think that they want Regis?" Let me. I'll remove this so you can see it. Yes. Do you really think that they want Regis to win? I think it's to the contrary. I think that the bogus Peter Wickham and Don Anderson poll will announce Lamin as the winner. Now, Audley, you and I are going to have to bet on this. We're gonna have to bet on this, and you're gonna have to be fair, Audley, because when you lose, you're gonna have to hand up. You're gonna have to pay up, wherever it is, whatever we're gonna be. Maybe it's Audley, what are we gonna say? If Lamin is announced the candidate after this poll, Audley, I can't even say I'm gonna invite Lamin on the platform because that would be rewarding you, Audley. But no, we have to invite him on the platform. But Audley, we need to take a bet. Guys, you got to let me know. Well, do you think that this poll, these two polls that are going to be paid by the party, and the polls always come out in the favor of the party? Peter Wickham never say anything opposite. Peter Wickham never say anything opposite what Prime Minister Gaston Brown wants and what the ABLP wants. They don't, because I'm paying your money. I'm not going to pay you to tell me nonsense. I ain't going to pay you to tell me what I don't want to hear. I'm paying you to tell me what I want to hear. He's a political... Okay. I was going... Yeah. So Audley is saying that he thinks that they're still going to announce Lamin Newton as the candidate in the poll, and that's what the people want. That can only be so because Peter Wickham and Don does not live in All Saints. They don't even live in Antigua. Okay? They don't even, they're not even Antiguans. Their passport is not even saying Antigua and Barbudan. My passport says Antigua Barbudan. Yeah? Oh, I was going to use another P word, Claudia, sorry. I was going to use another P. But they don't live there. They don't have any involvement there, but they make them money. Peter Wickham make his money out of Antigua. Peter Wickham is a working man making his money out of these polls that he's doing, these bogus polls that Peter Wickham doing. I don't know the Don, but he ain't no Don either because, again, he's being paid, so we know what he's going to say. But if the ABLP really go with Lamin Newton, like all of the All Saints West people are saying, they don't want to win that seat. They just want to leave it legit with Smith. It has to be. Because if all that ruckus, everything that happened, the whole drama, everything that's unfolded, and you're saying all the voices are saying no, the people singing, the people who have to go and put a tick next to Lamin name said not Lamin, and you're saying that you will still go with Lamin, you don't want to win that seat. You've already said, okay, no to that seat. You said no to that seat. Claudia is saying, oh, wait. Claudia is saying she agrees with Audley. Listen, I'm going to think of what the prize is going to be. I'm going to do something where when it's Regis Burton that's announced as the candidate, I'm going to think of what we're going to do here on the platform. Once Regis is announced as the candidate, we'll do something. If Lamin is announced, we'll still do something too, Audley, what do you think? But once Regis is announced, we're going to do something. We're going to do a little thing. We're going to do a little thing. Do like a celebration and thing. But I really feel that, Regis is going to be announced because Lamin ain't it. Lamin ain't it. Okay? Okay, Nikki, behave. Time to wrap up. My lovely people, so long, farewell to you, my friends. And can I say, oh, I got that. Yes, and yes. Audley, we on. It's on, Audley. The best of the best. It's on. Either you buy or I buy. Yeah? So if Lamin... So I'm just saying, just have your money on the side and just have the money waiting, right, Audley? Just have the money waiting. Because I'm going to make a post. I'm going to go crazy on Facebook. Hey, well, good night. I'm going to go crazy on Facebook, Audley. And I'm going to, like, literally throw down. Okay? Be prepared to throw down if you want, if Lamin is announced. But I'm going to throw down if it's Regis, But guys, I got to run. Remember, again, I'm doing an exceptional project. It doesn't matter where in the world you are. For right now, once you're here in the UK, I want you to come out and support me. If you're traveling to the UK, come out and support me at Ashburn Park in Croydon. Come out and support Cece Surprises. She is, it's her event. She's having a Guyanese or a Guyana UK link up, a kite flying link up where you can fly your kites, you can have your cane juice, you can eat the Guyana Chico. Yes, we call it Chico. It's like chewing gum. I say Chico. I think it's actually called Chico too. You can have your puri and fish, fried fish. You can have, and listen, if you're not in the UK, no problem. You have family members here, don't you? You have friends here. It's a bank holiday. They will be sitting at home doing nothing. They'll be bored at night throughout the day. I'm from 12 to 6, sorry. Yes, we're going to be there from 12 until 6. They're going to be bored. So you have to tell them on Easter Monday, CC Surprises is having an event called Small Days. Guyana, UK link up. It's an Easter kite flying event. So you're going to have your kites flying. You can even make your own kites. Bring a little basket, a little blanket. It's a big deal. Trust me, I'm going to go live. I'm going to go live. I have my guests coming all the way from Guyana. They're not really coming to me, they're actually coming to the UK to pass through to go to Dubai. So when I saw the message and, they said, Nikki, I'll be coming and we want to see you. I actually thought their Facebook was hacked. I literally thought the Facebook was hacked because I'm like, okay, prove that I'm speaking to the right person. I said, prove that you're speaking to the right person. So they sent me a voice note and said, Nikki, girl, you're so silly. What nonsense you saying? So from the time I heard the voice, I started one laughing because right now I can't take any chances, with nothing or no one around me. You gotta be, you gotta be secure. Watch yourself, watch your back, watch your side, your front, everything. So I said, prove that I'm speaking to the right person. So my friends are coming all the way from Guyana. They're passing through to head to Dubai. So they're going to come at this event and they're going to come and support. We're going to take some pictures. We're going to talk a lot. Come to the event, Najar. Come. Send your auntie, send your family, send your cousin or your sister, and send the babies, send the children that need to come out and have some fun, have some snow cone. I've been checking the weather and trying to monitor the weather because in London, in England, anytime, every day before you leave the house, you better check the weather. It's like in the Caribbean, we just get up and we just go out, or you just happen to have an umbrella. Man, you can leave the house looking all nice and have these nice pastel colors and not much of a sweater and whatever. And you hit in 2 hours in, boom, weather change completely. Like, okay, what is happening here? Or the rain comes from nowhere. So on Easter Monday, no matter what it is, we're not staying home. Okay, because the weather is the weather here in the UK, and we still gotta live, we still gotta work, we still gotta do stuff. It's like when it's raining in the Caribbean, we say, "Boss, I'm not coming to work today." That's what we say, but not over here. Rain, sun, snow, sleet, whatever it is, you better buckle up, go make that money. I'm just saying. So April 1st, Ashburn Park, CC Surprises is having Small Days. Guyana, UK link up. It's an Easter thing. It's an Easter vibe. Come with your kites, come with your blanket, come with your food. Just come and have a vibe and come and support your girl. It's the first time I'm doing this. I'm just trying to see, how creative I can be. I see all these people doing these things, and I said to myself, I can challenge myself. I cannot it's not just talking in the microphone and running my mouth. Is it? Am I only good at that? Can I just take a paintbrush and do whoosh, 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 like Van Gogh, Or can I just take a sewing machine and just sew up a little thing like Vera Wang? You never know. Or I can just stay in my own stealth, take up my nice little crochet needle and give it some fab fingers, eh? You see my fingers here? These are the fingers, no, these are the typing investigative fingers that you all get, And then there's the crochet fingers that you get, And there's the finger that, okay, no. Guys, I gotta go. I keep saying that. I gotta go. But guys, the 1st of April, Ashburn Park, right here in the UK, right in Croydon, CC Surprises. My girl CC, she's having her event. It's a Guyana UK link up. I'm excited because I'm going to put it all on Facebook. I'm going to brace myself for the comments because I'm just going to brace myself for the comments. But it's a big challenge and I'm excited about it. And I want you guys to get on board with me. When the products come, I'm actually going to do the unboxing live. So I'm going to do a live on my Lady Nikki Phoenix page. And I'm going to, keep you with lives and everything. I'm not going to tell you everything that's going to be happening, but I'll do everything on the page so you guys can see, and we're going to follow the journey. And then we're going to count our coins after, we're going to do that. We're going to check those dollars because you know what? You guys are going to give me ideas of the products that I'm going to put out there. You're going to give me ideas. You're going to tell me what you think is best. You got to. Okay. and then we'll see what the market is like, because it's a testing thing. We're feeling our way out, because one of the things I see here in the UK, I did say I gotta go, but we're here, we're talking. One of the things I see here in the UK is that everybody wears black, gray, blue, and beige. Like, yeah, that's it. There's some colors here and there, but black, gray, blue, beige, and all the shades of the gray, the blue, and the beige, like the lighter of the lighter and the tone and the tan and whatever. You ain't seeing no colors. You ain't seeing the bold red and the bold pink, or you have a hot pink, jacket, and you mixed it with a nice green, green pumps or something with the colors and the popping and the that does not happen, my friend. But when I do see it, I gotta be smiling at these ladies and these women and be like, wow, you look so beautiful. Like today I was in Brixton and I'm standing at the bus station just waiting for my bus. And I saw this girl, she's get off the bus and she's walking, coming, looking so fly. My goodness, like her hair, her colors, everything, the scarf flowing. And I'm smiling there. And I was like, you look so beautiful. And she just smiling from ear to ear. She's like, oh my gosh, thank you. But she looked really lovely. She wasn't revealing and short stuff and whatever, but just the colors they put together. And it's a cold day. Okay. The layers are in. Don't worry, the layers are there. But it's a cold day today, nice and cold. And she looks so lovely, like so, so lovely. So, you guys are going to help me to put a little splash of color, some Caribbean pizzazz in this place. However, we're going to do it, but we're gonna do it like we do everything else together. Okay. All right, guys. Sincerely love you, appreciate you, love you from the bottom of my heart. All the comments, all the everything that you do, it's worth it. You're worth it. And I really value you and your participation in everything. Now, I have a comment, a Facebook video. I have a funny video. That's what I should say. I have a funny video on my, well, I shouldn't say one, I have a few funny videos on my page. You guys need to go check it out, because a laughter a day keeps the doctor away, so I try to post a little thing or two. And for this video, it's a video with a blind person. I'm just giving you a hint. Go on my page and look for the video with the blind person. If you laugh, you have to skip a meal. If you laugh, you have to skip a meal. If you watch the video like 5 times, like Pian Smith did, you're going to have to skip meal for a week. But check it out. I love you guys. Stay well. Have a great Sunday. Stay prayed up and look forward to an exceptional Monday and the weeks ahead, weeks ahead. But look forward to us doing our unboxing and everything that we're going to do. We're going to step away a little bit from investigative work. Of course, we have our Saturday nights and our Thursdays and so on. But we're going to venture into some fab fingers, play, crochet kind of thingy majiggy. Yeah. All right. Love you guys. Later. Bye. Gotta go. Yeah, I gotta go. You guys gotta go too. Much love. Blessings.